Hey guys, Troy here. Want to share with you one of my favorites, and one of my favorites doesn't necessarily have to be a nice expensive pen. Sometimes they can be on the low end and still be incredible quality, and such as I would expect from a brand like Pelican. I've got a bunch of Pelicans in my collection, and over the years I've tried different ones as well, but I've got like an M120, a P580, the 200, the 1000, 420, the 400, the M20, the Happy Pen, the P120, the Pelican Twist, I've had a 150, and a Jazz Elegance. And out of those, I've only really been disappointed with two of them, and one of them was only because of the nib, and I wasn't much on the fine or extra fine nib that it came with, and the other was just manufactured in China for Pelican. I wasn't real impressed. So, but this is one here that came out in the 1990s. Between 1992 and 1996, Pelican had the M75, also called the Pelican Go. And this one here is one that I just recently procured. They come in a box like this, and this stripe right here tells you the color of the trim on the pen. And for a different color pen, you would have a different color trim. It's going to be black for the basic, and you can see the, this isn't really red, but reddish trim here. This was the first one that I had purchased some time ago, well over a year ago, and I have been really impressed with its performance over the past year plus that I've been using it, and I've been using it regularly and having refilled it more than once. So I'm not disappointed whatsoever. You get the little Pelican logo on the top. I mean, it's a plastic pen. It's a low-end pen. It's primarily aimed at the low-end market. Pelican had been off the low-end market for a long time at this point, and at least for a piston filler. And so they came back with a piston filler in 1992, and they only produced it, like I said, for 4 years. So it came out in several different colors for its trim. Well, just recently I found another one for sale, and it was new in box, so I went ahead and I got this one right here. So I figured for the price, and by the way, I paid $25 for this one, and I paid $25 for this one. 2 different times, 2 different sellers, and I just was impressed with the quality for the price. You open it up, and lo and behold, there's the exact same pen in a box like this. And I do have the box that the other one came in because it was also new in box. So for the same price, I picked up the exact same pen, just with a greenish or a teal trim to it. As a matter of fact, when I got them, the second one, last week, I went to my wife and I said, "Hey, baby, I got these two here. Which one do you like better? I'll give you one." And she said she wanted this one, which is the one I had been using. I had intended to give her this one, but she liked this color better. Okay, fine. Here you go, sweetie. So I gave her that one, and this is the one that I've been using for about the past week. They do write slightly different one from another. The nib is just slightly different, but they both write spectacularly well. As a matter of fact, when she tried this one, she goes, "Wow, that one writes great." And I would hope that it would, because it's a Pelican and the quality is there. So let's go ahead and it's a slip cap, pull that off, and you can see you've got some opening here that gives you a little ink window right there, and then you can see your plunger or your piston move up and down when you do it. I'm not going to move the piston because I have ink in them both, but right here is, you can see that nice cap line right there. That is your piston knob that you would turn to move that interior piston up and down. And you've got a nice stainless steel nib on this baby. And it writes very, very well for what it is. So, very impressed with it. Holds comfortably in the hand. They're not in production anymore, like I said, for, well, gee whiz, what, 14 years? 24 years now. Wow. But you can still find them out there and find them at a decent price. So I do highly recommend them, only because I've had a couple. They've both been spectacular writers, and I am impressed with them. When you post it, posts very nicely, does not overly backweight that pen, even though you can feel it because there is a good amount of weight by comparison in this cap. It is fairly weighty, but it's not horrendous. But just for the sake of argument, I'm going to set it right there. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you maybe some more pictures, and I'm going to show you the statistics on this particular pen. And though I had planned on doing it, I actually found a website that specializes in Pelican pens, and all I did was I took a screenshot of their details on this particular pen. I'll share that here with you, and I'm going to, of course, give them credit for doing that research for me. Alright, let's see how these babies write. And I'm going to use a notebook like I've been showing for several videos now. Real happy with that notebook and how it responds to fountain pen. I'm going to write once with it posted and once with it unposted. Why not? So I'm going to share with you this one. So this is the Pelican. It is a Go. I can tell you right now, if I'm given the choice between a Twsbi Go and a Pelican Go, I'll take the Pelican Go any day. The Twsbi Go was really big and hot last year, and quite honestly, I wasn't all that impressed with it. I've got one just because of the unique filler. It's not really unique because it's kind of an old filler, but I've got to be honest, I'll take this any day. Let me show you the difference on that Twsbi Go compared to a Pelican Go. And I'm only sharing because of the namesake. Other than sharing the name, they both put down ink, they have really no real comparison. But if you're looking for a low-end quality pen, I would recommend the Pelican over this Twsbi any day. I was telling you about that. All that is a plunger filler right there and draws up ink. This is nothing new. This filling mechanism is nothing new. It just hasn't been used by a modern manufacturer in a long time. This has a huge ink capacity. It has that little D-ring up top. People like to put a lanyard to it. Some pens of the Twsbi may have a better nib than this one. This one is a medium nib, and I gotta be honest with you, it doesn't write anywhere near as good as my other Twsbis, and it's not the most, it doesn't feel like it's the most quality pen in the world just by feel, and it turned out that I was right in terms of how it wrote. I was very disappointed. This one here, okay, it's plastic. You can tell it's plastic. This one costs a little more than the Twsbi Go by about $5, but still this one here outperforms it by far. So, that having been said, I will say that the Pelican Go is far greater than the Twsbi Go. My humble yet most accurate opinion, but this one is a steel nib and is a very smooth nib. Writes great. I've been impressed with it since the day I first got it. You're not going to get a whole lot of variation out of it. You will get some, but don't expect flex out of it because it is a low-end steel nib, but still a very good performing. I'll take that over a lot of the crappy, garbage, horrible nibs that I've had that are gold any day. So that was the first one. Oh, matter of fact, let me tell you what ink I put into that first one. This one I put in, that black there is an Allegheny Arsenal gunpowder black from Birmingham Pens. So yeah, forgot to tell you that. Now this one here we already know is a Twsbi Go, and in this one I chose a very different ink. I put in a Diamine Sargasso C. It's It's one that I hadn't used in a while. I've had on my shelf, and I was looking for, do I want to put a teal ink? Do I want to put in something that's a little closer to the, let's just go for blue, and I hadn't used Sargasso Sea. This one, believe it or not, this nib right here is just even more smooth. You know, increased smoothability, if you will, to coin a phrase. And what I will say too is you can definitely see this one actually has a slightly wider line, both of them being mediums, just slightly wider than that one, at least in its performance and how much ink it lays down. I did not try them with the same ink, so I cannot tell you if the ink is part of that differential between the two. But this one right here just glides across every single page, every single kind of paper that I've used thus far. And this one can be a very wet writer. So anyway, the Pelican Go. It's not right to call it vintage just yet, in my opinion, even though it is like 24 years old or so for the end of production. So it's still available, new old stock if you can find them, well worth the investment of about $25. If you're looking for an ordinary, reliable writer with a decent ink capacity, I mean, it's got like a 1.2 milliliter ink capacity in it, so you're not going to run out of ink anytime soon. Great writing pen, very well worth the money, probably one of the better values of some of the pens that have been out there, probably, especially out of the 1990s or so, and you get Pelican quality with it.